Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are unpacking the fascinating and honestly kind of hidden psychology behind why you might feel completely drained even when you aren't physically tired. Have you ever felt that? That heavy, lingering sense of just being exhausted by, well, everything around you? You weren't necessarily sad. You weren't necessarily hopeless. You're just tired. Tired of your responsibilities, tired of constantly thinking, tired of dealing with the exact same problems every single day. So, we're going to explore exactly why so many people feel tired of simply existing right now.
Okay, let's dive right in. The thing is, many people fundamentally misdiagnose what they're actually feeling. You think you just need a good night's sleep, right? But what you really need is psychological relief. People feel tired not just of dealing with their problems, but tired of existing exactly as life is right now. And psychology reveals that this feeling is highly common, way more common than we realize, and it goes far deeper than just simple, ordinary physical fatigue. There are four specific psychological causes for this, and we're going to look at each one.
All right, because number one, the weight of constant stress. The reality here is that your mind has simply been carrying way too much weight for far too long.
Consider the ordinary things we deal with every single day. We're talking work stress, family problems, financial pressure, general uncertainty about the future. These aren't just minor inconveniences, they are immense, constant mental demands. And here's the kicker. The human brain simply isn't designed to stay under indefinite, constant stress from everyday pressures like these. When we treat all these demands as normal over long periods of time, we force our nervous system into this unnatural state of constant tension. We are essentially bathing our brains in stress hormones without a single break. And there's a clear psychological progression to this. It starts with prolonged mental demands lasting for months, maybe even years. Inevitably, emotional exhaustion just builds up in the background as your internal battery drains. But here is the fascinating part. Eventually, the brain stops feeling overwhelmed and simply goes numb to protect itself. Actually, scratch that. It's not a lack of caring. That numbness is a built-in psychological defense mechanism, perfectly designed to shield your mind from relentless pressure. Which brings us to cause number two, being stuck in survival mode. This is that profound, heavy sensation of being completely trapped in a life that never changes. To really understand this, we have to look at the concept of stagnation. It's kind of like Groundhog Day, right? The scenery never shifts, the problems never evolve, and the rewards just never seem to arrive. Psychology shows us that human beings possess a fundamental need for a sense of progress. We feel significantly more motivated when we believe our actions are actually moving us forward. But when every single day is exactly identical, the brain experiences stagnation. And the research is absolutely clear. Stagnation directly and powerfully creates deep emotional fatigue. When you aren't moving forward, just standing still becomes absolutely exhausting. Because there is a massive difference between surviving and living. Surviving is paying the bills, meeting the deadlines, handling the responsibilities, and repeating the routines. Living, on the other hand, requires actual enjoyment and meaningful experiences. When you become completely trapped in survival mode, life starts feeling like a never-ending series of obligations. Those little daily moments of joy, they vanish. And when enjoyment disappears from the equation entirely, existence itself naturally begins to feel impossibly heavy.
Let's move to cause number three, emotionally running on empty. This shifts our focus inward to how we completely drain ourselves through our interactions with the world.
We call this invisible labor. So many people emotionally drain themselves by carrying an incredible amount of hidden weight. You know the drill, worrying constantly, overthinking every little decision, caring for others, handling everyone else's problems, acting as the primary support system for everyone around them. They do all of this heavy psychological lifting, while rarely, if ever, taking the time to actually pause and recharge themselves.
Think of it this way. Psychological energy is a finite, limited resource. If you allocate 95% of it to external responsibilities and to helping other people, leaving a measly 5% to actually recharge yourself, well, absolute exhaustion becomes inevitable. You simply cannot pour from an empty cup. Psychology confirms that if your emotional energy is consistently depleted and never replenished, your entire system will eventually just power down.
And our fourth and final psychological root cause is being disconnected from personal meaning. When life becomes nothing but a checklist of duties, we lose sight of the why behind what we're doing. Meaning acts as the ultimate fuel for our motivation. Research consistently shows that humans need a sense of purpose to thrive. But here's the secret.
It doesn't necessarily have to be some grand, world-changing life purpose. It just needs to be a personal reason to keep moving forward. When life starts feeling disconnected from that meaning, motivation drops sharply. And when motivation weakens, ordinary, everyday responsibilities suddenly begin to feel incredibly heavy to carry.
Having looked at all these causes, we need to completely reframe this feeling right now. Exhaustion is not weakness. Feeling tired of existing does not mean you want to give up. It simply means you've been carrying more than your mind was ever meant to carry alone.
The problem is not a lack of personal fortitude. In fact, psychology proves that even the strongest, most resilient people can reach a natural breaking point. When they hit that point, they don't need to just toughen up. What the exhausted mind actually fundamentally requires is rest. It needs a change of pace to break the stagnation, restored meaning to fuel motivation, or simply external support to help carry that invisible load.
As the source psychology explicitly reminds us, no mind can keep running forever without eventually needing to recover. It's just a biological and psychological impossibility. Your brain is an intricate machine that absolutely requires downtime and maintenance. If you're feeling tired of existing, your mind is basically throwing a warning light on the dashboard, asking for that recovery. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to reflect on today. Looking at the psychological causes we've explored, the constant stress, the stagnation, the emotional draining, and the loss of meaning, what is one small thing you can shift right now to stop just existing and start properly replenishing your energy? Your brain has given you the warning signal. The question is, are you going to listen to it?